The dictator is a political leader who possesses absolute authority and rules authoritarianly, and is often appointed or takes power. The dictatorial rule is characterized by consolidating the authority of one leader, strengthening its role, reducing or canceling the balance points, and separating the authorities. The dictator usually depends on repression, misinformation, and manipulation to maintain its power and suppress any opposition. The policies followed by the dictator vary in government and depend on the conditions and personal goals of the leader. The dictator may seek to enhance its personal influence and wealth at the expense of the entire society, and may follow economic policies aimed at achieving personal gains and collecting wealth in his hands. Sometimes, the dictator can seek to achieve specific political goals, such as expanding his country's influence at the expense of other countries or achieving his ideological agenda. The dictatorial rule is usually characterized by the intense repression of individual freedoms and human rights, and there are restrictions on press freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly and organization. Any opposition or criticism of the regime is suppressed, and force and violence may be used to maintain power and put out any popular moves. Another aspect, a dictatorship can also lead to apparent political stability, where security, order, and relative political stability in society are provided. But this stability is often at the expense of the rights and freedoms of individuals. It is worth noting that this recipe for dictatorship depends on the general pattern associated with this type of government and does not necessarily apply to all dictatorial systems completely. There are many factors and circumstances that can affect the dictator's policies and its methods of government. There are several factors that may affect the continuity of the dictator's rule. Here are some of the main factors that may play a role in the continuity of the dictator's rule. Controlling military force. Preserving the support of the army and security forces is a decisive matter for the dictator's continuity. The dictator usually depends on the army to protect its regime and suppress any attempts to rebel or coup. If the dictator is able to maintain the loyalty of the military forces and secure its continuous support, the chances of its continued rule increase. Control of the media. Control of the media is a powerful tool for the dictator to control the flow of information and control public opinion. By restricting the freedom of the press and organizing the media, the dictator can send messages and manipulate information to serve his interests and prove his authority. Repression and censorship. Repression and control are used to keep quantifying any opposing voice or opposition movement and to curb any activity that can threaten the stability of the dictatorial system. The repression is used by arresting opponents, torture, threats to violence, and even killing. This aims to distract and intimidate the opposition and prevent its activity. Dependence on customer networks. The dictator usually depends on the networks of agents loyal to it in various governmental institutions and sectors to enhance its authority and monitor the system. Persons loyal to the dictator are appointed to the main positions and are given privileges and gains to maintain their loyalty. Election manipulation. The dictator may resort to falsifying the elections or arbitration of the electoral process to preserve his authority. Government agencies are often used and manipulation of the electoral system to ensure the dictator or his loyal parties win. External support. The dictator may receive external support from other countries or international persons, whether through economic cooperation or military support. This external support can strengthen the position of the dictator and enhance its continuity in the ruling. Conflicting internal alliances can play an important role in ending the dictator's rule. The dictator may face challenges from within its repressive system itself, as tension and conflict can arise between individuals and influential groups within the government or the dictatorial system. Internal alliances may be formed that include different segments of political, military, or economic elites, and they are attempting to remove the dictator from power. These alliances may have contradictory interests or conflicting ambitions, but when they meet in a common desire to end the dictator, they can be able to form an impressive force. There are many forms of conflicting internal alliances. It is possible that alliances between the military and civilians, or between different religious or ethnic groups, or even within the ruling party itself. These alliances may use political pressure, popular demonstrations, and political maneuvers to break the power of the dictator and force him to resign or step down. Although conflicting internal alliances can be able to end the dictator, they may face great challenges. The dictator can use division, and bribery strategies to maintain the loyalty of the system members and maintain its authority. The end of the dictator's rule may require effective coordination and a variety of efforts by opposition alliances to achieve their goals. Among the historical examples of the influence of internal alliances in ending the dictator's rule, many popular revolutions that led to the fall of dictatorial regimes, such as the French Revolution and the Arab Spring revolutions. To achieve effective coordination between opposition alliances, a number of the following strategies can be adopted: communication and cooperation. There must be effective channels for communication and cooperation between members of the various alliances. Various means of communication, such as personal meetings, e-mail, phone calls, and social media, can be used to exchange ideas and information and coordinate efforts. Setting common goals. There must be a clear agreement on the common goals of opposition alliances. There must be one vision for the future of the new system and common principles and values that unite members and support cooperation. Distributing tasks and responsibilities. The tasks and responsibilities must be distributed among members of alliances in a fair manner according to their skills and capabilities. Specialized work teams can be formed to carry out specific tasks such as strategic planning, organization, communications, popular crowd, etc. Compatibility on a joint strategy. A joint strategy must be agreed to achieve common goals. This strategy must include the specific steps that the coalition will take to destabilize the dictator and achieve the required change. The strategy can include peaceful demonstrations, strikes, media campaigns, international pressure, etc. Dealing with differences and conflict resolution. Differences and disputes may arise within opposition alliances. It should be dealt with constructively and resolved in peaceful and democratic ways. Mechanisms for conflict and mediation can be formed in the event of disputes and emphasize common goals to overcome differences. Benefiting from external support. Opposition alliances can have cooperation and communication with countries and international organizations supporting democracy and human rights. Some strategies that can be used to achieve effective coordination between opposition alliances are regular communication. There must be regular and effective communication between members of different alliances. Periodic meetings and events that bring members together can be used to exchange information, evaluate progress, and discuss the upcoming strategies. Unification of vision and goals. Members of alliances must agree on a common vision and specific goals of change. When there is an agreement on the basic principles and common goals, it becomes easier to coordinate efforts and make joint decisions. Information and resources sharing. Information and resources must be exchanged between alliance members. Special communication platforms or joint management systems can be used to facilitate this sharing and ensure the use of capabilities and resources effectively. Distribution of responsibilities. Responsibilities and tasks must be distributed among members of alliances based on their capabilities and experiences. Specialized work teams can be assigned to specific tasks such as organization, communication, media campaigns, and external relations. Coordination in campaigns and activities. The various campaigns and activities carried out by opposition alliances must be coordinated. Common priorities can be determined and efforts to achieve the largest possible effect. These activities can include demonstrations, strikes, awareness campaigns, political and legal action. Cooperation with external forces. There can be cooperation and communication with other groups and organizations or countries that support democracy and human rights. These external forces can provide political, financial, and logistical support for opposition alliances, which enhances their ability to achieve change.